Hello, you guys. How are you all? Whoa, it looked a little blurry all of a sudden. Sorry for the facial expressions. Thank you guys for being here. So, tonight we're going to be doing true crime news. If you're new to my channel, this is something that we do often. It's just going through a bunch of different news stories that aren't really you're not seeing everywhere else. That you probably maybe haven't seen at all. So yeah, and it's usually it'll be a way smaller chat, but my God, you guys, I have a lot to go through. Let me move this though, because it seems wrong. I have a lot to go through. Um, there's a lot happening. I couldn't even, it was so hard to even choose. Did you guys see the community post I just did? I went down to the water and I was like trying to decide and reading through and different things going on just in the very recent week or so that we were all like paying attention to that hidden true crime situation. There was a lot happening that, you didn't even realize was going on. I will say, God, it seems like this time, like every time I go through and I'm gathering different cases, or sometimes they're not cases, so different news stories that I want to talk about, because not everything tonight is a true crime case. They're all court cases. But, you know, there's always certain themes that you see a lot of, but this time there was just so much. I feel like there was, 10 times more crime than usual, like in this last week or two, trying to go through and I will say some of it's pretty graphic. Some of it's not, like I said, not true crime cases. It's just like court cases. And I tried to like put them in order where you'd have little breaks along the way, because some of them are really tough to listen to. They just are. So I don't like trigger warnings. This is true crime. I think that, of course, we're going to be talking about some tough stuff, conversations that might be hard to have. So that's the plan. So I'm excited. I like this. It's a smaller chat. We can hang out. It's just like a chill Monday, keeping with the schedule live. Damn it, I'm excited about the schedule. Like, I'm not breaking it unless, like I said, there's some kind of like Christmas play or something big that you have to break it for. But I'm curious how you guys feel about it, because at least even if you don't get notifications. See, the screen did the blurry thing again. At least that we'll be here certain days at certain times. Let me turn this off. I might try to turn it back on in a little bit, but unfortunately, it just seems like it's taking a lot of the internet and getting blurry. Remy says, I think Hidden True Crime blew over extremely quick, but it seems like with each new thing, the speed at which it's dissected and covered is faster than the last. That's so interesting, because I do agree, but also in the moment, it felt like it was not blowing over fast. You know what I mean? And like at first, you could just feel the energy of it. Like I could, like just raising and like rising and rising and just, yeah. Then it seemed like all of a sudden it came to like an abrupt stop. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what happens. If that's the end of it, I'll be very surprised. I will say that. Hey, Kelly. Hey, everyone. I don't even think I said hello to you guys. So, hello to everyone. We'll be chatting along the way. So, I'm not going to go through and say hi to each one. Love that you'll be on a schedule. Thank you, Jay. Me too. That way, you guys know I'll be here. So, Wednesday, I don't know. Maybe something you guys are talking about in the chat, but here we will be here Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Seven says, my cousin knows a guy who just got shot and killed a few days ago. No arrest yet. It happened where homeless drug addicts hang out. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, it seems like when a crime involves homeless people, prostitutes, just it just seems like a lot of times there's not a lot of effort or resources that goes to solving those ones. I hope that one's different. It stopped abruptly. Okay, so buckle up, because some of these are really tough and they're wild. I mean, I'm glad you guys, please stay and listen, because you know what? Like, I'm sorry, I'm passionate about this. I really am, especially having talked about true crime on YouTube for the last 4 or 5 years. Like, I see certain cases get talked about and talked about. And I really noticed this with Gabby Petito. Like, oh, her case just, my earbud fell out. Her case just blew up, right? And it was everywhere. And that's all you could see. And, there were so many other cases that weren't getting talked about at all. And then I saw it with the next one with Summer Wells, somewhat, right? And then you saw it with Idaho 4, with like these certain cases, they get a ton of attention, and rightfully so, they should. But what happens is there are all kinds of other cases that don't get any attention. There are some families and victims who are begging for the press and for the public to leave them the hell alone. And there are some that are begging for anybody to listen to their story and pay attention. And I just think I'm passionate about it because of that. I'm passionate about it because I think it's good to know what's going on in our world. And once you start paying attention, you cannot stop, because you're just like, holy shit, how did I not know this? So thank you, Remy. Hey, Colby. Well, I'm glad that you're here. So I want to get your input, all of your guys' input on some of these. So let's start here. I organized it right before we started. So this is the first one on but it's not actually the first one on my tab. StreamYard, you're doing me dirty. Tried to disorganize me, but okay. There's a weird thing with Crime Online where the photos of the people in the articles don't show in the article. So what I did was I went and grabbed a screenshot of the beginning of that article with the photo that goes with the article, so that you guys can see these people, these different people who've been arrested and stuff like that. Because if not, it's just, I don't know, it's dumb. Fix it, Crime Online. That's an issue. And you guys, if you haven't like looked at Crime Online, I totally recommend it. It's like, if every couple days, just go over there and scroll through and read. And you'll see it's a really great resource. And usually pretty much anything that's happening, you will see over there. So Florida woman tries to kidnap 5-year-old boy from grandmother's SUV. These kinds of stories always really grab my attention, because I think, dude, we need to know about this. People need to realize that this shit happens, because I think a lot of people, it's kind of like, I don't know. You think that it will never happen to you. You know it happens, right? You're aware that these things do go on in the world, but you just never see it happening to you. And yeah, I'm able to process it better, neat. Oh, instead of one that's lengthy and all at once. Me too. Oh, Neat loves the true crime news. Summer Wells went crazy. It was just all over the place. She deserves justice, though. So, I learned from Deets the other day that Fred Hill, the neighbor, is getting all kinds of shit stirred up. We know about the polygraphs and all that stuff, and kind of some of what went down with that. And then we know that he's been talking with Donna Serafina, and she's put out new videos and stuff. And, I just hope that real information comes out soon, and there's real movement in the case, and that these people who will kind of grab on and use a case like that will get knocked off. Okay, sorry, you guys, it's hard to talk. You get thirsty. Also, tomorrow night at 8:30, we're going to be talking about Michael Vaughn. I wanted to dig into his case because of the arrest and then the live we did the other day. But to be honest, I just don't know it well enough. So I spent today, let me show you guys. Actually, I spent today kind of like reading and watching stuff and going through and like making notes and making myself little like with just the information on it. You can't see my notes, but regardless, that's what I did. And I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. This way, I at least know, I have a better idea. I don't ever want to just get on here and just talk about something without, especially something that goes that deep. It's been going on for many years. There's a lot of stuff that's happened, and it's kind of confusing. There's been arrests and releases, and you know what I mean. So I want to know it a little better, but that'll be tomorrow. And I'm the same way, Remy. I'm so you're thankful that the family has some sort of answers and they have some sort of resolution, but then again, they don't, because now you have this acceptance of this murder charge, right? And then you have, he's not been found. It's, God, it's just terrible. But okay, back to this. So, Florida woman tries to kidnap 5-year-old boy from grandmother's SUV. A Florida woman has been charged with false imprisonment of a young child and burglary after she allegedly tried to kidnap a 5-year-old boy from his grandmother's vehicle. An immigration hold was also placed on Ivana Nobile. She's 38 years old, and we're going to click that hyperlink in a second. According to local news, the grandmother told police she had stopped her SUV at a gas station when it began smoking Tuesday morning. A stranger, later identified as Nobile, probably butchering her name, approached the vehicle and handed the grandmother what appeared to be an Argentinian identification and told her that the person pictured was her aunt. The grandmother said she did not pay her much mind until she opened the rear passenger door where the boy was sitting. "I'm taking him," she said as she grabbed the child's arm. "This child is the wrong color to be with this woman." The police report on the incident said that surveillance video and witnesses corroborated the grandmother's statements, with the witnesses reporting they were alerted to the incident by the grandmother's screams. One witness said she heard the grandmother screaming for help, stating that this woman was trying to kidnap her kid. She said she saw the suspect pulling on the boy's arm, the affidavit says. Police arrived on the scene after the grandmother called 911. Nobile was taken into custody but refused to speak with the officer. Oh my God, can you imagine? Somebody comes up to your car, opens the door where your child is, and says, "I'm taking him." Bitch, try it. Oh my God. But this is a grandmother, right? So you're like, it's different than, oh my God, I just cannot imagine. Oh, so here we go. Ivana Christina Nobile. Her face should be everywhere. Listen, the hidden true crime thing was important. Don't get me wrong. People should care the same about this. This bitch's face should be blasted everywhere. And I'm not joking. That's how I feel. I truly mean that. Yeah, nah, that's not happening. Try me, lady. Yeah, exactly. As a mother, police chime in. Whoo, Jeff. Let me tell you. Worst nightmare, right, Amber? Over my dead body. Whoa. Oh my freaking gosh. Yeah. So let's keep looking a little bit longer and then we're going to move on because we got a lot to go through. And they only get more shocking. And the ones that aren't true crime cases are very interesting conversations I want to have with you guys. One is regarding a cruise ship. So we'll get there. And like I said, it'll be kind of back and forth to give you little breaks, but it's all tough. So just know that. She's on an immigration hold, like it said. $50,000 bond, false imprisonment of a child under 13, human trafficking, and burglary of an occupied conveyance unarmed. 15,000 for that one. So, all right, now this I thought was really interesting because of the factor that this was an ex news anchor, and she only worked for like maybe 4 years. We'll read that in this article in a moment. But I mean, did you imagine that your story would be reported on? Let me show you their pictures, since again, crime online has to be difficult with the pictures. So here is the ex news anchor, a former St. Louis morning news anchor, 47 years old, stabs her mother to death in her bed. Her mother's 80 years old. This always, like, I don't understand these people who will attack like elderly people. Like, are you the lowest of the lowest of the low? Like the weakest, wimpiest piece of shit alive? Like, really? 80 years old? You're going to attack your 80-year-old mother? Oh, let me go back to, sorry, I don't have my old Facebook anymore that I used to send my stuff to, so I have to send it somewhere else. And then it opens up to normal people, which never would have happened before. So I do apologize, but that's okay. Back to their picture for just a second so you guys can see, and then we'll go to the article. All right. Hopefully StreamYard doesn't like shut down on me since I have 50,000 tabs open. Okay. I'm trying to figure out motive from her. I'm thinking money, inheritance, or maybe she threatened to cut her off. That's what, yes, I agree with you. Hey, Hitty's in a crowbar. This shit is crazy. Buckle up because it only gets worse from here. There are, like I said, there are some that don't. So don't think everyone is going to be. But a former St. Louis morning news anchor has been arrested and charged in the stabbing death of her 80-year-old mother last week. Angeline Mock, 47, claimed that she stabbed, listen to this, she stabbed Anita Ayers multiple times to, quote, save herself, unquote. To save herself. Okay. Wichita police did not provide any details about what happened Friday morning, but said that they found the mother unresponsive in her bed with multiple stab wounds. The mom was rushed to St. Francis Hospital, where she was pronounced dead about 30 minutes later. Police charged her daughter, Angeline, with first-degree murder. Angeline was a morning anchor for KTVI from 2011 to 2015. And her mom was a licensed clinical marriage and family therapist. According to local news, police were called to the scene by Angeline. Sorry, I know I'm terrible with some of these names, so just it's not the point. Who borrowed a neighbor's phone to make the 911 call. They arrived to find her outside covered in blood. And this is not funny, so I don't mean to make light of that at all either. So please forgive me, but don't be too rough on me over the names. So again, according to police, she called police herself. She borrowed a neighbor's phone. They find her outside covered in blood. She's being held on a $1 million bond. Just interesting. Like, you reported the news for 4 years. You know how many crimes she must have reported? I don't know. I thought that was something interesting to touch on. Now, here we go again. Here's another freaking, just a nightmare. Like your worst nightmare. But okay, so here is the guy's picture, and he looks terrifying. Missouri man follows woman home from Target, tries to kidnap her with her toddler son in tow. Now, he claimed that she invited him. We'll get through all of it, but the look on his face in the mugshot is just like, oh my. Case is so unbelievable. The hate her daughter must have had for her mama. Hey, Wolfie. Yeah, it is. Me too, Jay. So let's go over to the article. A Missouri man has been charged with stalking, kidnapping, and child endangerment after he allegedly followed a woman home from a Target store earlier this month and grabbed her while she was holding her toddler son. Joshua York, 30, claimed he struck up a conversation with his victim at the store, and she invited him home with her, but changed her mind when they arrived. He said that made him angry, so he demanded money from her, then left when she started screaming. A probable cause statement told a different story. Police say York was wandering around the store when he saw the woman and started following her. After she checked out and got in her car, he got in his own vehicle and followed. She arrived at her apartment complex and began carrying groceries inside, leaving her sleeping 2-year-old son in her vehicle while she did so. Probably not uncommon, just while you're unloading the groceries. On the last trip, she picked up her son and purse to head inside, but got a weird feeling that she should look behind her, and that's when she saw him behind her, behind a car parked beside hers. He stood up and walked towards her, and the woman yelled, "What are you doing?" At that point, York rushed to her, grabbed her around her waist, and began dragging her to the parking lot. Still holding her son, the woman fought back and screamed. A witness who was driving in the parking lot at the time heard the, quote, bloody murder scream, unquote, and ran toward her, seeing York flee to his black SUV after shoving the woman and her son to the ground. And then he drove away, according Law and Crime reported. Police used surveillance video from the apartment complex, a gas station, and traffic cameras to identify York as the suspect, and he was arrested last week and is being held without bond. He does have a previous conviction for disturbing the peace and was initially charged with terroristic threats in that case. Protect yourselves. Make sure if you're out shopping by yourself, you have a way to protect yourself because that is damn scary. Everybody goes to Target or Walmart or wherever, right? And oh my God, stalking. I wonder if he put snarky comments on TikTok. Neat. No, I know that was sarcasm, but it's absolutely like a good point to make. Target is a dangerous place. Please, if you are a woman and you're out on your own a lot, if you either carry a gun, make sure that you know what you're doing with it. I'm not saying just go out willy nilly getting firearms and carry them around. I recommend taking whatever classes and getting licensed and all the stuff that you need to do that. And if you're not comfortable with that, carry some other pepper spray, something. Always be aware of your surroundings. You're right, Twisty. It's scary. Dude, and grabs her by the waist and starts pulling her while she has the baby. And imagine, he followed her home, so he must have seen her like getting the groceries in and out of the car. Hey, Johnny. All right. Now, this is one that is not a crime case, and we're going to do this before we get into the next one. That's really a tough one. Actually, the next few. Well, not necessarily in a row. The next one's quite. They're just, I don't know. I'm kind of overwhelmed with how many. Look, we're going to go through like a dozen cases tonight or things like this. This isn't, like I said, a true crime case, but we're going to go through a dozen tonight. Let me tell you what, there are so many more. Like narrowing it down, there were so many more. And some that were just like the ones we're reading tonight. So now, I just really wanted to get y'all's opinion on this one. Okay, so let me get a picture because they did post a picture with the cruise ship with this article, and this will be quick. But, oh. So there we go. Now, that is a huge ship. I've never been on a cruise. I don't know. I'm curious if you guys have. And if you have, what you'll think about this. So, a wrongful death lawsuit has been filed against Royal Caribbean. That's a cruise line. This happened after an intoxicated New York mother fell overboard into the sea. On Tuesday, Ehrenfeld trial lawyers announced they filed a lawsuit on behalf of 66-year-old Dulcie White's family, alleging that the cruise line over-serving White was the cause of her fall overboard and her death. CBS News Miami reported that White of Westmoreland, New York, vanished into the Caribbean Sea October 22nd, 2024. That is so sad. As Crime Online previously reported, she was aboard the Taylor Swift-themed cruise, Allure of the Seas, during a voyage destined for the Bahamas. White was on the cruise with her daughter, Megan. She purchased the cruise line's unlimited alcoholic beverages package and was reportedly attempting to maximize her investment in the deal. White was reportedly served at least 7 alcoholic beverages, one drink after the next, over approximately 6 hours and 8 minutes. I mean, that seems like a long time, though, for 7 drinks. I mean, not like a short time. Then this is according to the family's lawyers. The law firm's release listed at least 3 different establishments on the cruise line that served her drinks during that time period. Cluin shared her distress over her mother's level of intoxication. Because of that, she did overdo it, trying to maybe get her money's worth, she said. She was completely intoxicated in a way I haven't seen before. It saddens me that is my last memory of her. Around 7:30 p.m., a fellow passenger assisted White in returning to her stateroom. White and her daughter had kept their bags and luggage stored on the balcony to free up space inside the room. Cluen initially believed her mother was heading outside to retrieve some clothing. I assumed that what she was doing was going to check her suitcase. I wasn't looking, and the next chance that I did look up, I saw her back. She was seated on the edge of the balcony like she had climbed up. She was seated and then fell over before I could get to her. The family's lawyer, Spencer Ehrenfield, maintained that crew members on the ship were negligent for continuing to serve the grandmother of four even as her intoxication became apparent. Ehrenfield stated that she exhibited visible signs of being overserved in front of staff, including slurring her words, swaying, having glassy eyes, and having noticeable alcohol on her breath. Each of these crew members was negligent for continuing to serve her alcoholic beverages in her intoxicated state, Ehrenfeld said. Cluen believes that the over-serving was financially motivated, accusing staff of prioritizing tips. These crew members are incentivized to continue to serve them because that's how they make their tips. At approximately 9:40 p.m., White went into the water. The family also alleged that the ship failed to reverse course or deploy any lifeboats for a search operation. Now that's bullshit, if that's true. The search for White involved 2 helicopters and teams from the U.S. Coast Guard and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, but her body has never been recovered. They should have something on the ship that they can very quickly put a boat in or put someone in to help in a situation like that. Cluen emphasized the lasting trauma of this incident. She says it will haunt us for the rest of our lives. I feel the overconsumption of alcohol and the overservice of alcohol were the cause of this. So, now this again is a lawsuit against Royal Caribbean, and it's alleging that they negligently overserve alcoholic beverages, a wrongful death suit. So I'm curious, what do you guys think? Is this is the ship responsible? Is it just a terrible accident? Like, I don't know. I thought it was and would be interesting though to like a question to ask you guys. I think you could survive because we've seen other people that have fallen from these ships be rescued. But I guess it depends, how I don't know. Because remember that baby that fell in and somebody jumped in and saved it and they survived, and there was another baby who went through that window and did not survive. My God, that's just scary. I think the cruise ship does have some amount of responsibility for over serving, not total. But I mean, 6 drinks, 7 drinks in 6 hours and 8 minutes. It doesn't seem like they were just constantly doing it. Like if they were bringing her a drink every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes even, like 12 drinks in 6 hours, then I might go, well, but General Sorrow says no, people can be over intoxicated and appear slightly intoxicated until they start walking. True. That isn't much over that time unless a lot were at the end. That's what I was thinking. Hey, Jacob. I've been on a couple cruises. Before it was even mentioned, I said tips. They can be strong and large. Wow, that's interesting. I'll wait for the autopsy. Well, she hasn't been found, unfortunately. That is not a lot. It's not a bar. True. That's another point. You're not driving home. Now, you could, like something like this could happen, but most people are going to their rooms. Jay says, I think she was partly to blame for over drinking to such a level, but also the lack of search immediately and the endless drinks, even when she was clearly too drunk, was wrong. Here's my thing, like, Coast Guard or who did they say? There was like police forces and rescue forces that did come, but not from the cruise. And there was no stopping anybody putting a lifeboat down, any of that. Like, and that's a problem, I think, but that's not what the lawsuit's even about, right? It's about negligence with the over serving. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We'll see. But now we're going to get into some of the ones that are more difficult to listen to. And again, I'm here to tell you that this is not it. This isn't even half of how many of these cases are happening right now, right now. And you don't see them. There's just too much. I don't know what the problem is, but let me show you what these parents look like because I was able to grab a photo of them. So just a second, and before we get into this, Louisiana parents charged after newborn died with severed lower spine. They look like babies themselves. Hoodie says that is making, hold on. Okay, that is making others responsible for someone else. Where do you draw the line? California has a law that can make a bar or liquor store responsible for someone that has a DUI that ends in a fatality. Where do you draw the line? Because like I said, if it was like just extreme over serving, but again, I never been on a cruise. I think it's interesting people that have said like tips and that kind of came to their mind, but Taco Tuesday says on a cruise, you're not driving. I don't feel staff is responsible if you overdrink. It is awful neat. Okay, so let's take a look at this. A Louisiana couple has been charged with murder in the death of their 2-month-old daughter who suffered internal bleeding when her lower spine was severed. Opelousis, look at the way this is spelled. I'm not crazy and terrible at reading, I swear. And sometimes, even if I know how a word is pronounced, I notice this with Lauren, with her last name. Every time I go to read it, I still can't say it. So just forgive me. That's not the point. Let's continue. So police said they were called to a home on October 25th, just after 8 p.m., and found the newborn not breathing. Officers began life-saving measures, and paramedics took her to a hospital, but the baby was pronounced dead on arrival. An autopsy determined that the infant suffered severe neglect and physical abuse, including extreme dehydration and malnourishment, broken ribs, and a severed lower spine. Police obtained arrest warrants charging Kaylee Fontenot and Taylor Broussard with first-degree murder, cruelty to juveniles, and second-degree battery. Let's go to the local police report. Oh, let me finish this. So the police chief, Craig LeBlanc, said, "Our hearts are with this infant who suffered unimaginable abuse. This case is in its early stages, and our investigators are working tirelessly to uncover every detail. We ask the public for patience, cooperation, and assistance in helping us pursue justice." Fontenot was taken into custody on Friday and Broussard on Monday, and Fontenot is no longer listed in jail records while Broussard is. So let's go. I didn't realize that when I read this earlier and I was putting together what we were going to talk about, that very last sentence didn't stick. Like there were other things that did, like for instance, the first-degree murder charge. I'm curious what evidence they have, but let's go to this hyperlink and just see what the police said. It's on Facebook, so. Oh, dang it. No, I messed it up. Hold on. Maybe I can't. Let's go back. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, let me go back to it. For immediate release, October 31st, 2025. Parents charged in homicide of 2-month-old infant. Investigators with the police department and special operations division have arrested one suspect and are actively searching for another in connection with the death of a 2-month-old infant reported on October 25th at 8:09 p.m. Officers responded to a medical emergency in the 200 block of North Liberty Street where they found the infant girl not breathing. Officers immediately began life-saving measures until paramedics arrived. However, upon arrival at a local hospital, the child was pronounced deceased. Following the autopsy, they learned of this severe neglect and physical abuse, including extreme dehydration and malnourishment, broken rib bones showing some signs of healing, a severed lower spine resulting in internal bleeding and ultimately death. Through interviews, investigators identified the parents as Kaylee Fontenot and Taylor Broussard and learned that the child had been in their exclusive custody since birth. And they list the charges: first-degree murder, cruelty to juveniles, second-degree battery. Investigators located and arrested Kaylee, and at this time, Broussard remained at large. Now, I'm sorry, but let's talk about this for a moment, because a 2-month-old infant that already had broken ribs with some signs of healing. Now, maybe that could be part of what made it first degree murder. But how rough do you have to be on a person in general? No, first of all, let me just say, babies are far more limber, and it's harder to break their bones than adults because their bones are soft. They're growing. A baby could maybe have a fall off their bed or something from a couple feet and really break no arm or anything, but an older child might break a bone falling from the same height. How absolutely disgusting and brutal, and how must you be to be able to not only not give drinks and feed your child, but then you're causing broken ribs and a severed lower spine, a severed spine. Oh my God almighty. They are resilient. Yes. I cannot. That poor little baby. I know. And look at these kids. I mean, and they're young. What happened? And look here, you are both just as guilty. And I don't give a shit if it was just him. And the reason I feel that way is because if there were broken bones healing and stuff, this is a long-term, and malnourishment and not giving them any food or drinks, no, or milk, or I'm sorry, they would only be on a bottle at this time. So, but not feeding them, come on. Mm-mm. We'll be watching this, see how it develops. I personally think the whole world needs to know exactly who these people are. So you would have to step on the spine full of weight. My God. I know, Jacob. I can never understand someone looking at a sweet little baby and hurting them. Shaking my head. Hey, Teacup. I hate this couple. Monsters. That's a good point, Kelly. Baby probably cried a lot. But then again, if nobody's answering their cries, nobody's helping them. My God. I don't hate many, but if you can hurt a baby, elderly, or animals, I truly hate you. Me too, Jacob. I'm right there with you, damn it. For real. Just like the woman who killed her 80-year-old mother. The hell is wrong with you? What is her stupid smile for? Good point. I don't know. This isn't like your yearbook photo, lady. But I say lady, but my God, they're young. One's 18, one's 20. Let me go back to it because I don't remember. Okay, so Kaylee, why doesn't it have her age on here? It says Taylor is 18. I thought it said she was 20 somewhere. Did I make that up in my head? Do you guys know? If anybody knows, let us know in the comments and we'll keep going because we got a lot to get through, but I need to get a drink. So just one second. I wish I was going to tell you guys that was the first and only disgusting parent we're going to hear from, but we're not. Let me see. We've got one, another one that involves a baby, but that was from a sibling, a missing girl, a graphic sexual abuse story. I'm going to call it what it is. Sometimes it's hard. I sit there and I'm like, how do I always, when we're reading through or talking about it, we'll call it what it is. But in those moments, it kind of makes you pause. But We're going to call it exactly what the hell it is. So we're going to get to that next, but let's take a look at this for a second. So, impaired teen Porsche driver kills 3 University of Arizona students and then flees the scene to call dad. And let me tell you, one of the parents of the students that was killed is very vocal with how they feel about it. And I was here for it. But let me get their pictures of the 3 University of Arizona students first and show you guys. Maybe, or maybe I won't, because here we go. Sorry. So in Tucson, this happened in Tucson. A 19-year-old is facing charges after police say he killed 3 University of Arizona students Thursday night before fleeing the scene in Tucson. According to the Arizona Daily Star, Louis Artal is facing charges that include second-degree murder, 3 counts, aggravated assault with serious injury, and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. I don't know why I want to keep, earlier when I was kind of going through this and researching on my own, it keeps throwing me off because for some reason I want to think that this was a girl driving and it wasn't. And I think that's because of that recent case that was kind of similar, where the phone calls have came out and she was just just such a brat. This kind of reminds me of that. But all right, so let me continue. The incident happened at around 11 p.m. Thursday on North Euclid Avenue at East 2nd Street in Tucson, as Artal, also a University of Arizona student, allegedly sped in a 2019 Porsche Boxster before crashing into 3 students walking in a marked crosswalk. 2 of the victims, identified as Sophia Trotel, 21, and Josiah Santos, 22, died at the scene. And the 3rd victim, Katia Castillo Mendoza, 21, died Sunday after being removed from life support. Witnesses told police that the Porsche appeared to be going around 30 miles per hour over the legal driving limit in that area. The driver didn't stop and instead turned himself after fleeing the scene and turned himself in. There's a typo. After fleeing the scene and contacting his father for assistance. In a statement, a Tucson Police Department officer with the Impaired Driving Enforcement Unit said that evidence was found that Artel had been impaired at the time of the crash. Artal, I think. Mr. Artal's impairment, speeding, and failure to yield to pedestrians in a crosswalk are the major contributing factors of this collision. The investigation remains ongoing. This is sad, man. This is really sad. Dude. Is it a virus or something happening? Did I click something? Okay, I'm just exiting out of that. Okay, you guys, but I just wanted to talk about that because it's sad. Like, you have 4 young kids who have ruined, 3 of them don't have their life anymore. And this young man has ruined his life. And by the way, in the article, it goes on to say one of the victims' moms in court yelled at him and was like, "Why? How could you leave my child laying there on the ground while you just run off? Like, what the hell is wrong with you?" And that's my words. Like, it's not word for word. So, but we'll follow along and with this as it goes, and I'll keep you guys updated as I see updates. Okay. Thank you, Soulfish Shayna. Thank you, guys. Carolina. Hey, Chow Young Cat. Spinal pain is the worst pain. All right, let's keep going. Now, this one just pissed me off, so I'm going to warn you now. That's usually like the warning. I don't do the trigger warnings, okay? This is true crime. This is tough stuff. But I will do a rage warning because you might be pissed the hell off after you leave this live. Because let me tell you what. the amount of pieces of shit parents, students, teachers, preachers, coaches, uh, that are just being disgusting and nefarious with our kids. It's truly unbelievable. So, but this happens to be a parent and a step parent. So, Utah man was arrested for allegedly sexually abusing his biological child and stepchild. Now, they did not include a photo with this one, or you better believe I would post it everywhere. But the 40-year-old man from West Jordan, maybe I'll get it from that hyperlink, but we'll read through this first, reportedly admitted to abusing one of his children to an FBI agent who was investigating unrelated sexual abuse claims. It was during that investigation when a search warrant was executed at his home and he was taken into custody, leading to the admission. The man's stepchild allegedly told detectives that their stepfather gave the child and stepchild sex toys to perform oral sex on. The stepchild claimed the father also wanted them to perform oral sex on him, according to KTVX. The man, who was also accused of showing both children pornography, starting when they were 8, KTVX reported that the abuse typically occurred on Sunday when the mother was at church. However, the biological child allegedly recounted at least one incident in which the mother was present and did not say anything. That right there is what pissed me off. Like, all of it pissed me off, but that just like was the nail in the coffin. According to the news outlet, the man claimed the sexual abuse started because the stepchild was sexually curious. He reportedly also admitted to downloading child pornography and giving his stepchild a sex toy. The man, who has not been publicly identified, there we go, was charged with sodomy upon a child, object rape, and rape of a child, and distributing material harmful to a minor. He remains jailed without bond. It is unclear whether the mother will also be criminally charged. Well, you know what? She should. But this made me, I can't help but think of Jen Soto when I saw this earlier. And especially when I saw the part that her mom saw and didn't say anything. I guess the part that he hadn't been identified, because I was reading fast, trying to gather everything, didn't sink in for me. But regardless, I couldn't help but think of Jen and think, unfortunately with Maddie, we weren't able to hear from her firsthand what happened because some coward bitch named Stephen Stearns. But, I want to watch this and see if the mom is charged. I personally don't believe that Jen was aware. Now, I'm not saying she didn't have questions or there weren't red flags, and she was not. She was definitely negligent. I think she has fault in it for sure. She infuriates me, but I don't think that she was like a part of what was happening to Maddie. But that's only because we haven't seen evidence of that. And police have told Stefan's parents in calls we've heard that they've dug, up and down looking for it. So until we see the evidence, now this is different. We have a victim reporting that mom saw and didn't do anything. Well, I think that if that's true, if they, I think that she should be charged. But that's just me. No, she said that she witnessed it. One incident in which mother was present and did not say anything. I took it as not present in the home, but like present at the time that it happened, because if she was just present in the home and didn't know, how could she say anything? You know what I mean? That kind of insinuates. Maybe I'm wrong. And if so, then, that's okay too, but I'm wrong all the damn time. I could be wrong again, but that's kind of how that reads to me. What do you guys think? Hey, Lisa. Yeah, blame the kids because she was sexually curious. Like, what? That's what you have to say for how and why this happened? Okay, so let's keep going because we got some other things to talk about. And this is important. I want to share her face This is a missing 16-year-old girl from Arizona. Do you guys remember Emily Pike? That was the young girl that disappeared from the group home. And remember, there was a couple girls from that group home, and she was later found brutally murdered. And there was a turquoise alert, which is also AKA Emily's Law. Look how beautiful this girl is. I think it said Pacific Islander. So I think she's like, because my best friend growing up was Pacific Islander and her family was from the Philippines. But I could be wrong. So we'll double check that going through this article. But this is her face. So for anybody in the area, and look up the case if you are in the area, but let's take a look. So police in Arizona are searching for a 16-year-old girl who vanished inexplicably Saturday. According to the City of Mesa Police Department, a statewide turquoise alert has been issued. Yolan Hermios, 16, who was last seen around 6:50 local time near Dobson and Broadway Road in Mesa. Family is concerned for her welfare since it is out of character for her to be gone for an extended period of time, police said. Hermios was last seen in red shorts, a black shirt, and black shoes, according to police. She's described as a Pacific Islander who stands 4 feet 11. She's tiny and she weighs only 110 pounds. She has brown eyes and brown hair with green faded highlights, according to police. According to the Arizona Department of Public Safety, a turquoise alert, also known as Emily's Law, was named after 14-year-old Emily Pike, who was found murdered earlier this year after vanishing from a Mesa group home. The goal of the turquoise alert is to locate the missing endangered person through efficient information dissemination and communication that results in a safe and expedient recovery. So it's cited as Emily's Law to honor and memorialize the life of San Carlos Apache tribal member Emily Pike. So if anybody has information, it's easy. If you see Yolan, you have information. If you happen to go across my video, you never freaking know. All you have to do is call 911. That's what they want you to do. So that's easier than a lot of places we see with like a long 10-digit number or specific email. Just call 911. There's a lot of young girls that go missing from that area and a lot of Native American, and we've talked about this. That's why when me and Jim were doing the Letitia calls, we decided to forget how it came up. It started with like showing missing kids that weren't getting any coverage because the calls were getting people were very interested and they were getting a lot of views. So we thought, how can we make this like trying to do something something to help, like even if it's just a little something. So we started doing the missing children. Well, then we went on to I think Jen kept doing the missing children, but I kind of switched it up and I did like a missing people of color. Like I tried to do Native Americans, and I went to the Black and Missing Foundation and grabbed a bunch of pictures and tried to share them on those calls because it's a huge problem. There are a lot of missing people that they're never seen again. There's no news coverage. There's no search parties. There's no YouTube drama, right? Like there's no parents on here fighting and like buddying up with YouTubers. There's no lawsuits keeping their name even part of the conversation. There's nothing. And that's really freaking sad, man. It's sad, especially when we see like how overdone some of these cases get. Now, let me say, even with hidden true crime, and even me, I'm part of that. Don't get it twisted, because I know I'm part of it, because I was so invested. I usually keep up with like crime online and current stuff that's happening. I wasn't even doing that. I was just like keeping up with that stuff. And, maybe that got a little bit too much coverage from me. There was a commenter who had said, Allie, I just want to get back to talking about the cases, basically. And, they're like, I'm sure that my opinion means nothing, but I just wanted to say that. And I thought, no, I want you guys to share your thoughts with me. I don't give a damn if you agree with me. If you disagree with me, if you think I'm dead ass wrong, tell me. That's okay. Because sometimes I am wrong. And it took me a while after coming to YouTube to be able to accept like criticism and not take it personal. But I think it's really important to be able to do that, because how do we become better? Like maybe I did need to move on, and we are. That's one of the reasons I want to get into Michael Vaughn's case, and I wanted to do this tonight. Like, so I don't know. It's just frustrating because there are so many missing kids and men and women that never are known. So that's all. Missing cases are the ones that get to me and keep me awake at night. I can't imagine what the family goes through. Me either, Jacob. It makes me think of Harry's. Gosh, why is the name like? What is wrong with me? With Harry and Mark. But the name is escaping my brain because we're talking about so much. But imagine your loved one being missing since like the 70s, and or the 80s, or for 30 years, 40 years. Like, I don't know. It's just heartbreaking. Very sad. Milligan, what is wrong with me? Thank God I thought of it, because I hate when that happens. But if I'm like too much, I'm really invested and like tapped into all the things we're talking about here. So, all right, let's keep going though, because we have a lot to get through, like I said, and we are not done. Now, this one is interesting. I think I do have her mugshot, but I think I'm not going to share it. Actually, and it's out there, but only because it doesn't really matter. Because I'm curious if there's some kind of mental health thing going on. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong for that. I don't know. Let me just tell you guys what's going on. So, a New Jersey woman is facing criminal charges for reportedly stabbing her 2-year-old brother on Saturday. Now, he's okay. He's survived. But police officers who responded to a Brick Township residence found the injured toddler before taking his sister, Marlene, into custody. According to NJ.com, the boy was hospitalized and is listed in stable condition. An investigation determined that Rodriguez stabbed her younger brother in the chest, but Ocean County prosecutors have not revealed what led to the attack. Rodriguez was charged with attempted murder, endangering the welfare of a child, and weapons offenses, and she is jailed without bond. There was such little information, and the fact that, thank God the 2-year-old survived. How do you, at 20 years old, want to? I don't understand, and it makes me wonder if there's a mental health issue or something. And I think it's probably only maybe I am wrong for not wanting to show her mugshot, but she's young. So I just felt like, but, I'll just share the picture because it's part of the story, and it wouldn't be fair to not just be transparent and show everything, not with show with other ones and not with her. But I guess we'll see. We'll have to see. We don't have any information. So, okay. Now, this was kind of interesting. And then the next one after this is another really terrible piece of shit parent. So, but firing squad chosen by death row inmate who taunted police with bloody message. Let's just watch the video, because I've been talking, so.
Carolina inmate convicted of killing 3 men in Sumter County, now set to die by the firing squad. 44-year-old Stephen Bryant is scheduled for execution 2 weeks from tonight. Bryant's decision comes as some question the firing squad's accuracy after claims the last inmate who was shot suffered before he died. This will be South Carolina's 3rd firing squad execution this year.
Is that not crazy? Now, Bryant, listen to this. Let's read a little bit about this. Firing squad, I find this really interesting because of all the talk from Idaho, Chad Daybell, that stuff. Even that the fact that a firing squad is like a thing we're doing in modern times is kind of crazy. So, Kimberly, I agree. Mental health has to be the only explanation, and she's young, so I want to just wait and see before I attack her too much or to be too judgmental or too harsh. Because sometimes I can be a little harsh on the. I mean, they deserve it, but on the people who commit these crimes. But listen to this. So, how he taunted police. Stephen Bryant, 44, opted for execution by firing squad. His sentence stems from a brutal murder and a chilling message he left for investigators more than 20 years ago. Bryant was convicted for the fatal shooting of Willard T.J. Tygen. After the killing at Tygen's home, Bryant admitted burning the victim's eyes with cigarettes. Bryant also used his blood as paint, dipping a pothole in the blood to write "Victim 4 in 2 weeks. Catch me if you can," alluding to an alleged string of 4 victims in 2 weeks, and candles were also lit around Tygen's body. He burned his eyeballs and surrounded him with candles. Bryant's daughter, Kimberly Dees, testified that she tried to call her father several times and grew more concerned with each unanswered call. On her 6th call, a stranger answered. Oh my God, listen to this. When she insisted on speaking with her father, the caller told her, "You can't. I killed him," and then identified himself as the Prowler. Dees told the judge who imposed Bryant's sentence, according to Fox 5 Atlanta. Prosecutors also accused Bryant of fatally shooting 2 other men in October of 2004. So it's taken him 20 years to finally get to at the time of his execution. One before Tygen's death and one shortly after. They say Bryant offered the men rides and shot them in the back as they stopped to urinate on the side of rural roads. Bryant's defense argued that extreme distress and history of trauma, including childhood sexual abuse by 4 male relatives, preceded his actions. They said Bryant repeatedly sought help but could not obtain it and turned to drugs, including meth and lace joints, according to Fox 26. Despite Bryant's past traumas, the court found that the severity and calculated nature of the crimes, including the message written in blood, warranted a death sentence. Now, Bryant is scheduled to face a firing squad of 3 volunteers firing from 15 feet away on November the 14th. According to CBS News, he will be the 3rd person executed by a firing squad in South Carolina this year. Only 3 people in the U.S. have been executed by a firing squad since 1977, all in Utah. That is super interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's a case I might want to dig into. Like, I'd like to look at that. But why so damn many afflicted with mental health? What's different today than in the past generations that's causing mental illness? Hey, trio girl mom. I don't know. Maybe we'll look at this though. I mean, not that a ton of people would really care, but I would like to do it. Yeah, volunteers, it totally does put it on a whole nother level of craziness. 3 of them from 15 feet away, and knowing that, I don't know, like the questions over the accuracy and stuff. Okay, so now we're going to drive from South Carolina on up just a little bit to North Carolina, okay? Let me show you a picture first, actually. Oh man, there's one I didn't get about a woman who in Albuquerque, and maybe we'll talk about this another day. There's a bunch on there though that I wanted to talk about that didn't, but I actually grabbed a screenshot of the dude's mugshot. See, because I planned on talking about it. New Mexico mother's dismembered body found in kitchen freezer, son charged with murder. Like, and they talk about the police coming there and when they found her. they're there and they find a little bit of blood on something, and then they get to the freezer and they find trash bags, and it happens to be her. And I meant to grab that, but guess I didn't. So let me. North Carolina mother arrested. Police find neglected 13-year-old daughter dead at home. This happened on Thursday. This article came out, it happened last Thursday. This came out 2 days ago. Are you, Stephanie? Okay. Well, let's do it because I'm interested too. Maybe it's just me and you, but we can still do it. Okay. You know what, though? I just have to say, though, like as I think about it, and I've said this before, but don't you have to have mental health issues to commit murder? Isn't that part of it? Like, would it like not always? Don't get me wrong, not always, because I guess it could be number one, self-defense, number two, revenge, number three, like passion. But other than that, like these, even like unless it's a very passionate moment where you're in the feelings and in the moment, like to commit murder, I don't know. I just think that you have to be mentally ill, anyways, to be capable of doing that and to think that you're going to get away with it. So, police in North Carolina arrested the mother of twin teens 3 weeks after finding one of the children dead from possible neglect at a High Point home. On Thursday, High Point police arrested Kimberly Bowden, 44. Bowden's 13-year-old daughter was found dead at their home on East Ferris Avenue on October 13th. Her twin brother was also in the home at the time, alive, according to Fox 8. WXLL 12 reported that police found the home in deplorable conditions, filled with trash and rotting food. The warrant showed that Bowden failed to provide adequate food and medical care, which reportedly contributed to the daughter's death. Bowden appeared in court virtually Friday from jail, and the judge went over her charges. You have 2 Class H felonies: neglect, child abuse, and bodily injury. You have 2 counts of that. Each carries an 88-month sentence. You also have a failure to report the death of a child. That's a Class H that carries a 39-month sentence. The prosecutor addressed the state of her home. The conditions of the house were unsanitary. Officers also noticed inside of the residence that there was a gas stove, and it appeared that there was a danger. That residence was actually causing some type of toxication from the gas stove, but it wasn't properly lit. The prosecutor highlighted that Bowden wasn't only the child's mother, but also a certified nursing assistant who was required to know how to provide care. She was being provided money for that particular role, the prosecutor said. Courts are still waiting on the official autopsy results, but her bond is set at $1 million. And let me tell you what, I truly believe that there's going to be more charges when the autopsy comes back. But we'll see. Maybe not. Failure to report a death reminds me of today with Michael Vaughn, looking into that case. And, that's what Sarah was charged with, and then it was dropped. But, yeah. I'm interested in that too. And why one child and not the other? But aren't you neglecting all of them if your house is in that shape? I'm sorry, but when you have kids at home, you have a duty to keep the house clean. Like for me, it's beyond that though. I don't want my house to just be clean and safe. I want it to be cozy and comfy. I want the kids to come home from school and be like, happy to be there. I want it to smell nice. I want their rooms clean. I want the beds made. I want, everything in its place. So when you come home, like the kids have a nice place after school all day. Like I don't know. It's kind of important when you have small children. But some people don't grasp that, I guess. Oh, yeah, there will be more charges. Hey, glitter is forever. Maybe she's one of those weird boy moms, right? Who's like likes the boy and not the girl. I don't know. But also how freaking sad that he has to live without his twin. That's not right. Hey, Boo Sheep. None of it's right, you guys. All of these cases are just completely screwed up. And, you know, there was so many more. I will say there was a bunch more of just all of it. And I was, oh, I forgot I grabbed a picture to share with you guys. Okay, so I was like, really just like, it was kind of hectic at the house and trying to get ready for school and all the things and dinner. And then I got done and I thought, okay, I want to go put these cases in a particular order and grab those screenshots of the pictures. I'm going to go out to the dock, sit by the water, and just like relax. Well, I get out there and I'm just looking, and I, number one, kind of overwhelmed at how many of these cases there are, how much crime is happening these days. And a lot of it's just not reported at all. And it's just so sad. And then, I don't know. I was sitting out there and I've made a post on Patreon and I kind of shared pictures and I thought, and it's free to, it's for all members. So some paid and some free members. I try to do both. Like some things will of course be only for paid members, but this was available to anybody who was a member. And I shared these pictures of the water, and it's just beautiful out there with the moon like on the water. And then I thought, well, let me try to get a picture of the moon, and I could not get one. I got one that was kind of good, and I put that over here on YouTube, a different one, because I wanted to like put different things on each one. Well, then I don't know what happened. I changed the setting in my camera, and I took the most gorgeous picture of the water and the moon, and I wanted to show y'all. I was like, you know what? I'm going to save that and show it at the end just for people who were in the live. So let me show y'all, because it is freaking gorgeous. And it did like really help me relax and digest some of that horrible information when already in like a high stress. But look at that. My God. It's just about full, not quite. But the water was like so still. It was just gorgeous. It was just hard though to get a picture that got the moon, the water, and I wanted to get like the stars too, because there were a lot. Oh, there were a lot of stars. Hold on. I only got a couple in my picture though, but anyway, it was truly beautiful. So, you know, if you need a moment, go outside, take a look at the moon. It's gorgeous tonight, and I think for the next couple of nights it will be. There we go. See, you can only see 1, 2, 3 stars, but in real life there was a bunch more. But I don't know what I did that changed the setting, because all the other pictures you couldn't see, like you can see just blurry lights and stuff. So anyway, thank you for showing me what outside looks like. You're so welcome. Sorry, I love you, Alex, but I'm a new grandma. No difference between my love of my kids or my grandbaby. I would fight for my life if anyone tried this. Oh, I didn't mean that, Heather. I'm going to tell her, make sure to listen to the end. Responding. I don't want her to take it that way. Responding to your comment here. Oh, you did, Michelle? That's awesome. Okay, so what I mean, Heather, I don't mean that as a grandma that you wouldn't fight. I think like grandmas love their grandkids just as much as their kids, maybe more. I don't know, because I'm not one yet, and I can't wait. I can't wait to be. Although I don't want it to happen like tomorrow, but what I meant was like you're more like the older we get, we just become more vulnerable and less in shape and less able to fight off somebody who might be trying to take our baby from us, like right in that moment. I can't get over that. I'm taking them. Like, what? But yeah, so just know that that is not what I meant at all. I meant that a grandma is more vulnerable, and it just messed up. And especially if it's an older grandma, you know, because it depends. Like there's grandmas of all ages, right? Like I'm a great aunt, have been for a long time. I became an aunt at 7 years old. So, But all right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. You do, Twisty? Tell me about it before I go. Now I know why I felt like crap earlier. Supermoon in 2 days supposed to be more magnetic due to the closeness of the Earth. Interesting. Twisty, you can disagree with me. I like it. Tell me about it. I'm serious. I do like it because, yeah, it just makes you think. If your opinion or you stand firm in your belief, somebody disagreeing with you shouldn't change that. Maybe it will change your mind. The beaver moon is on November 5th. Oh, that's cool. What did Kelly say? Yeah, no, it is. So it is the ocean technically, but not technically. It's called the Sound. It's the Albemarle Sound, and I can tell that without giving my location because that place is huge. It crosses over like 3 counties or something, at least 2 counties on this side and probably 1 or 2 on the other side. So it is where the ocean meets the river. So like to the right of us is like one, and to the left is the other, and you can see like it's just in the middle. It's brackish water, but actually there was like a big storm that closed off part of the Sound, so it tends to lean more freshwater. But I mean, it's no different because we get crabs and even dolphins come right up to the dock and everything. Like there's ocean fish and river fish, catfish. Bentley caught a bunch of catfish yesterday. So yeah, it's both. And it is the ocean, but it's not, if that makes sense. No, we don't have manatees. No. That would be really awesome though. But we do have like there's also alligators here. I've never seen one, but some of my family has, and especially on the way to the shore and like where it's just the ocean where all the hotels and stuff are. But we have alligators. There was like a 12-foot one that was hit by a van a few years ago, not very, like very, very close to where I live. Just a couple minutes, a hop, skip, and a jump away. And it was like 12 feet long. So there's alligators and snakes and swamps and all kinds of weird stuff that I never was used to living in the mountains in West Virginia. These like creatures that live in the heat, in the wet heat. Yeah, they're crazy. I saw a bald eagle today. I actually did take photos, but they're not very good. But I see them all the time. I can share the photos on the community tab. You can kind of see. But it was really like stormy this morning, so they're not that good. But there's a nest. There's an eagle nest right by us. We have like tons of ocean birds and different things, but also I don't know. It's just a weird place with lots of wildlife, including big ass deer who like to jump in front of your car. But lots of gators. I hate gators. But anyways, all right, you guys. We've talked and talked and yeah, well, they will go into that water. They've even been found like up the road in the rivers. But there is also a river called Alligator River, and there's a lot of swamps. Like the water that you see by me is not the only water. There's also a swamp, like just a couple feet, like it connects to the swamp too, just a few feet away. It's hard to explain, but there's a lot of swamp and stuff here. But anyways, you guys, all right. I'm gonna let you go. It's brackish, yeah. Let me see if Twisty commented on that though. Such a huge ecosystem that feels I know that forms a community. You didn't tell me how you disagreed, man. I was getting ready to end and I was waiting on your disagreement, like your on what you disagreed over. So let me know. And I'm just gonna let you guys go. But if you still want to let me know, just leave it in the chat. I'll be watching till it closes down. And I love that hoodies and crowbar. I love the moon, the stars, like all that kind of stuff. I really love it. I love like learning of how it can affect us. Which hello, if the moon affects the oceans and we are like 90% water, it only makes sense that it can affect us. And yeah, I just think there's a whole lot there we don't know, but I find it really interesting. So I'd love to chat about it anytime. But anyways, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Glitter Forever, for stopping by. And I'm gonna let you go. I'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night. Bye.